You tap a button on your phone, a car appears in minutes, and you're whisked off to your destination. You pay your $25 fare. Simple, right? But have you ever really thought about where that money goes? It vanishes from your account, but how much of it actually ends up in the driver's pocket? And more importantly, what is Uber's cut? The answer is a lot more complex than a simple taxi fare, and it tells the story of a company that intentionally lost billions of dollars for years on its way to becoming one of the most dominant forces in the modern economy. By the end of this, you'll understand the surprising math behind every single trip. You'll see how Uber engineered a global system to make money from your ride, and how it transformed from a cash-burning machine into a profitable powerhouse. To get how Uber makes money, you first have to understand what it isn't. Uber is not a taxi company. That might sound weird, but it's the absolute core of its business model. Traditional taxi companies own fleets of vehicles. They employ drivers. They are directly responsible for the cars on the road. Uber does almost none of that. It's what's known as an asset-light platform. It owns almost no cars, and while the legal landscape is changing, the people driving you around are typically not its employees. This is a critical distinction that allowed it to scale at a speed the world had never seen before. For example, after a lengthy legal battle that went to the UK's Supreme Court, drivers in the UK are now classified as workers, giving them access to a minimum wage and holiday pay. So, if it's not a transportation company, what is it? Uber is a marketplace. Think of it as a massive high-tech middleman connecting two groups of people, those who need a ride and those willing to give them one in their own car. Uber's entire business is built on making that connection happen. It provides the app, the payment system, and the network, and for playing matchmaker, it takes a piece of the action. This idea allowed Uber to wedge itself into the transportation industry and completely rewrite the rules. But the way it takes its cut is where things get really interesting. Let's go back to that hypothetical $25 ride. You see one price, but behind the scenes, that number gets sliced up. What you pay isn't what the driver receives, and what Uber takes isn't a simple percentage. The gap between the rider's payment and the driver's earnings is what's known as Uber's take rate. First, the price you're shown is calculated by Uber's upfront pricing algorithm, which considers the trip's time and distance, traffic, and crucially, the real-time demand in your area. So, you pay the $25. From this, Uber takes its cut, which is a mix of fees and commission. For years, many assumed this was a fixed 25% commission, but that's no longer the case. Since Uber introduced upfront pricing, the connection between what the rider pays and what the driver earns is more opaque. In recent financial reports, Uber's average mobility take rate has been around 30%. However, academic studies and driver reports have shown that on any single trip, Uber's take can sometimes be much higher, occasionally exceeding 50%. So, on your $25 ride, after Uber takes its cut, let's say $16 is left for the driver. But that's not their profit, it's their revenue. From that amount, the driver has to cover all their costs: gas, insurance, car payments, maintenance, and the slow depreciation of their vehicle. Depending on the car and location, a driver's true operating cost can be significant, with some estimates putting it well over 50 cents per mile. After a long day, a driver's actual take-home pay can be shockingly low. This fare breakdown is just the baseline. Uber's real genius and its most controversial tool for maximizing revenue is dynamic pricing, which you probably know as surge pricing. You know the feeling. A concert just ended, it's pouring rain, and the map on your app glows red as prices go up. Uber says this is simple economics, a way to balance the marketplace. The higher prices are supposed to be a magnet, incentivizing more drivers to head to that busy area, increasing the supply of cars. But critics argue it's about more than just supply and demand. It's about algorithmic power. Research from academics has raised concerns about algorithmic price discrimination, suggesting the system can be opaque and may calculate the maximum price a rider might be willing to pay while figuring out the minimum a driver might accept. Drivers have reported seeing different fare offers for the same trip, and the system can feel unfair and unclear. Uber's own executives have discussed using machine learning to optimize the platform, which critics worry could lead to targeting trips to drivers based on their behavior. This algorithmic pricing is Uber's most powerful tool for extracting value, moving far beyond a simple commission. So we've seen how Uber takes its slice of a single ride, but how did this model, which famously burned through billions, finally start making money? Before we cover the big turnaround, if you're finding this breakdown interesting, take a second to subscribe to the channel. For most of its life, Uber was a paradox. It was a household name, yet it was losing more money than almost any startup in history. In 2019 alone, it lost over $8.5 billion. How was that even possible? The strategy was simple: growth at all costs. Early on, Uber wasn't trying to be profitable, it was fighting a war for market share. It used billions in venture capital to subsidize rides, making fares artificially low to attract riders and offering big bonuses to build a huge network of drivers. Now, they were essentially paying both sides to use their platform, bleeding cash to push out taxis and fend off rivals. Then, things started to change. The company began a long, difficult pivot toward profitable growth. This involved a few key moves. First, rational pricing. The era of deep discounts ended. Fares started to better reflect the real cost of a ride, and driver incentives became less generous. Second, focusing on the core. Uber began shedding its most expensive side projects. It didn't just sell its autonomous driving unit, ATG, and its flying taxi project, Elevate. It spun them off into partnerships, selling majority stakes while retaining a financial interest in their future success. Most importantly, it leveraged the platform. Uber realized its biggest asset was its network. With millions of users and drivers, they aggressively expanded Uber Eats. The delivery business exploded, especially during the pandemic, and became a huge source of gross bookings. Today, mobility, rides, and delivery are the two pillars of Uber's business, though they have different profitability dynamics. They also expanded into freight logistics with Uber Freight and launched high-margin products like the Uber One subscription to create loyal customers and an in-app advertising business. And it worked. After years of unbelievable losses, Uber started reporting profitable quarters, signaling that its business model could finally be sustainable. Uber has successfully morphed from a disruptive startup into a profitable giant. But the road doesn't end here. The first path forward is data. Uber isn't just a ride-hailing app, it's a logistics and data powerhouse. It holds over a decade of information on how people move through cities, which is an incredibly valuable asset for everything from urban planning to advertising. The second path is the long-awaited dream of automation. The single biggest cost in Uber's ecosystem is paying the driver. While Uber spun off its in-house research, it's still positioned to be a key player in an autonomous future through partnerships with AV tech companies. The ultimate vision is still a network of self-driving cars operating 24/7, which would dramatically change the economics of every trip. Finally, Uber's ambition is to become a super app. It doesn't just want to give you a ride, it wants to be how you get dinner, groceries, and packages, integrating everything from public transit to scooter rentals into one seamless platform. So the next time you tap that button, remember what's happening under the hood. That fare isn't just for a trip across town, it's funding a complex and powerful algorithm, it's paying for a global logistics network that moves people and things, and it's fueling a company that has fundamentally changed our relationship with transportation. Uber makes money by being the indispensable middleman, taking its cut from billions of tiny transactions. It has mastered the art of balancing supply and demand, leveraging powerful tech to extract value from every ride, and has finally shown that its world-changing vision can also be a profitable one. What do you think about Uber's business model? Is it a brilliant innovation or a raw deal for drivers and customers? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more breakdowns of the businesses that shape our world.